Hey, it's Tpok. I'm back in Symphonic Rain. When I left off, I think I committed to Fall being my partner, and now apparently she's mad at me. Nor should we put ourselves down. We should evaluate ourselves appropriately. Good point. My elevation subsided with time, and with it came the realization that my fingers and shoulders felt sluggish. When completely focused on a performance, I would lose all sense of time and neglect my accumulating exhaustion. A little. Oh no. Wait, every day? What is Natale? Fall decided with a meaningful smile. It looked like Natale at least was safe. I'm a little relieved to hear that. Yes, yes, as you wish, ma'am. Shall we wrap things up here? I guess that's a yes. Oh, it's nighttime. Jeez. Fall suggested after we arrived at the three-forked road where we always parted. Shall we meet up around noon at school? A little earlier. That would mean in the morning. I don't like thinking of a holiday as a regular day of school. Ah, dang it. That might make it all the more difficult for me to break free from the holiday mode. A friend? You mean Asino? Chris, that's kind of sad. I'll use like friend. I only have one friend, Asino. Right. So that's what you meant. But practice, huh? What's more? Going over to a girl's room is what are you doing, Chris? Kinda. Well, I'm just not used to it. I answered sheepishly, and as expected, Fall had to laugh. If anything, my room was the better option as Forney was there. Not that I needed someone to keep an eye on us, but if we got too deeply involved with matters that extended beyond music, the result would be painful for us both. What are you thinking is gonna happen, Chris? A bonus? Oh, 2 meals. Definitely. Sorry, trying to get comfortable. You're cooking, huh? That's tempting, alright. It was gradually getting harder to refuse. Perhaps I should have agreed to practice in my room from the start, but it was too late to suggest I had a school or my room by now. No. Oops. The day before the start of school. The 3rd of January? I see. Then it's also partly my fault for being so slow to make up my mind. Don't worry about it. I don't mind. We'll probably be rehearsing non-stop when school starts again, so it'll be a nice break. Mind telling me where you're off to? Ah, I see. But knowing you, I'll figure you'll be rehearsing even at home. Don't worry, I won't be slacking off. We'll meet up in the morning, right? Don't mention it. It was too late to argue over the location. Sure, but are you sure you're okay with hosting me? Okay then, see you. I watched her disappear from sight, then walked home, pondering whether or not to bring Forney along tomorrow. And so we ended up deciding to rehearse at Fall's place tomorrow. Care to join us? I was almost positive she would say yes, but even if I didn't explicitly tell her I wanted her to come, but... What? What? You're being an awfully good girl today. You mean you aren't? Do you care if I force you to tag along then? Are you sure? How odd. What? That was your true objective? I thought I'd oblige. Fine, then I'll be going alone tomorrow. I will. While it wasn't really her style, it seemed she was being considerate of me. I thought I'd accept her gesture for the occasion. Raining again. Sabado. Wait, it's the 24th of December. Oh, Natale's Christmas. Wow. Okay. It was crowded in town, likely due to the fact that tomorrow would be Natale. Tomorrow most people would go to church and most stores would be closed. Religious people usually spend tonight until after tomorrow's mass in silence. I wasn't particularly religious, and while I would still attend church to pray tomorrow, I didn't feel like spending the eve in silence to prepare for my prayers. I avoided the eyes of the citizens on the streets and checked the time through the window of the trattoria as I had done the last time. Looks like I'm a little early. Yeah, like 4 minutes. I noticed the sound of the rain hitting the awning and absently noted that I'd forgotten all about the rain being there for a moment. I'd heard there was a function in your body that would drive monotone sounds into the unconscious if they continued on long enough. It made it reasonable that people of this town had gotten to be so indifferent toward the rain. It was likely in the process of becoming apathetic to it as well, after having lived here for years. I strained my ears and held out a hand to feel the raindrops on my skin. The fine particles of the drizzle changed direction by the slightest gust of wind as they soaked the palm of my hand. I would get a cold if I held my out for too long like this, so I withdrew it for now. I'm waiting for you. Ah, fall. Ohio. Ohio. You're early. I thought you might just be helping out in the store again like last time. I just wanted to feel the rain on my hands for a bit. When it's raining endlessly like this, you tend to forget about it sometimes. This isn't your town of origin either, right? Come to think of it, I don't think we've ever really talked about that. Okay. What's her house gonna look like? Pretty plane. Sorry for intruding.
どうぞ。
Fall handed me a dry towel at the entrance.
この前使ってたよね。
Yeah, I gave you one. Thanks. After drying my hair, I buried my face in the towel, taking in its pleasant odor.
使い終わったら適当にその辺に置いていいから。
After wiping my Fortelle case clean of raindrops, I folded up the towel and left it on the table. Fall was busy in the kitchen, outside of my field of vision. Taking a good look around the room, it really didn't seem much like a girl's bedroom. That wasn't to say that I expected it to be particularly feminine, but perhaps I had the impression simply because there was so little stuff here. Not that I was one to talk, as my own room was pretty much the same.
どうしたの？
Oh, nothing.
物が少ないんで驚いてるんでしょ。
A bit.
でも必要なものは全部あると思うし、不自由はしてないよ。
I see.
さあ、まだお昼までは時間があるし、練習しちゃおっか。
Right away?
私に今必要なのは練習あるのみでしょ。
Right. We should drive out all unrelated matters. Such sentiments were superfluous. Superfluous? Where should I set up my Fortelle?
そこでいいよ。
Then let's begin.
はい。
Okay, let's practice. Did we even eat lunch? What the heck? 6:34. After taking a deep breath, Val took a cup of water from the table and downed it in one go.
今日はこんなところかな。
Yep. After eating sandwiches at noon, okay. We devoted the remaining time until dinner to rehearsing without ever taking a proper break. Considerable fatigue built up in my body, and there was times during our performance where my fingers stopped moving properly. The temperature inside the room was mild, but my clothes were soaked in sweat by now. That's disgusting.
終わったら終わったで、今度はお料理しなくちゃ。
I don't mind having some leftover bread.
ちょっと朝から煮込んでるシチューを無駄にする気？
Oh, since this morning.
あんまりいいお肉じゃないけど、よく煮込めばすごく美味しくなるんだから。
Aren't you tired?
好きでやってることだから。
With that, the girl left for the kitchen. She must have been tired, yet her pace was energetic. There was no way I could follow her example right now. I'm doing it because I like to. I wondered how many times I heard her say that by now. Was there even anything she disliked? She worked a part-time job beside her student life, saying she doesn't mind because she enjoys the cooking, and would always consent when someone asked her a favor. She enjoyed copying scores for me. She enjoyed making food right now, and she enjoyed singing. What didn't she enjoy, really?
お待たせ。うまくできてるとは思うけど、いただきます。
What? What the heck was I doing? The more I learned about her, the more miserable I began to feel. And I began to feel, okay. To put it in a good way, interest. To put it in a bad way, affection. I wasn't supposed to be doing anything besides practice, yet here I was, engaged in unrelated activities.
明日はどうする？教会にお祈りするのもいいんだけど。
Was I looking forward to tomorrow?
それよりもさ、ちょっと寄りたいところがあるんだ。
I just nodded like an idiot, brought more food to my mouth, and told her to handle the schedule. Why do I keep shifting? Are these just my thoughts? Why can't they be in a normal text box?
あ、そうだ。演奏会のチケットが2枚あるんだっけ？
Oh man.
それも行きたいな。
So, right now, I know I chose fall for the arc that I'm going, because I'm assuming Ari is not. Like, Ari, Chris's current girlfriend, is not an arc. I think it's only Lise, fall and torta. And I chose fall. So now it's got this dramatic love triangle thing going. So I don't know how I feel about this. I feel bad for Arietta. Because she's gonna just get smacked with this out of the blue. But I don't know. To not let myself get swept away by emotions. To not corrupt the relationship we had going. I feigned indifference. And pretended to be delighted. What? But in truth I was delighted. Oh, okay. Sure, is noon okay for you? Sure, what kind of concert is it? I think I've heard about it. Tickets come cheap for students, right? Oh. Dang it. Then how do we get tickets? She casually produced 2 tickets from her bag. Do you have such acquaintances? I see. Quite calculative of you. The instructors probably didn't give her tickets simply for having done a few favors for them. After spending some time with Fall, anyone would realize that you just can't help but feel to want to help this girl out. Fall loved to sing and was always striving to improve. She put in the effort and had the talent to pull it off. Then it's okay if I don't bring my Fortelle, right? Listening to good music counts as practice. Or so I thought, but then I figured some actual practice might be needed after all, yes. My uniform? Why? Good point. Got it. See you tomorrow. Unlike this morning, the streets were deserted by now. I figured everyone had finished shopping and gone home to prepare for their prayers with their families. When I got home, I was in the mood to make a prayer as well. Good for you. Dementia, 25 December. Oh geez, man, you slept in. Morning had almost passed when I woke up. I ended up being awakened by Forney's angry voice as she peered over my face. Yeah, I know. An hour. Morning. What do you want me to say? Sorry. I didn't really have time to fool around with Forney. I energetically jumped out of bed in an attempt to shake off my drowsiness and went to take a shower. 30 minutes until the appointed time. Oh, I thought it was noon. I had nothing else to prepare besides my Fortelle, so I could easily still make it. What am I doing with my Fortelle? Bringing it to the concert? Wait, I got ready in 3 minutes. Awesome. The faces of people on the streets had a distinctly different feel to them from usual. There were people who had already made their prayers and those who were on their way to do so. Excuse me. Ugh. Unlike the regular Sunday masses, the mass at Natale was held continuously throughout the day, so that as many people as possible could attend. There also wasn't much of a ceremony. The priest wouldn't read out scriptures, nor would bread and wine be distributed. However, hymns could be heard flowing from the church the entire day. And while it was a rather troublesome procedure, it was possible to line up the recessive blessings from the priest. The church itself was open to all, and it was possible to head right in and pray, but it was common practice to first line up in the queue, which would at times extend all the way outside to receive blessings. In the previous 2 years, I used to line up there together with Arietta. And now she's not here, so Chris doesn't care, I guess. As I was waiting for fall in front of the trattoria, I heard a familiar voice call out to me. $5 goes to Torta. Yes! Yes! The 5 people that watch this now owe me $5. Oh, Torta, good morning. Waiting for someone. Yeah, we're going to a concert later, so we decided to go in uniform to look a bit more formal. Frown. Knew it. What about you? I'm planning to. Perhaps. She said and casually waved. Torta. Yeah. See ya. I stared at her retreating figure until it vanished from sight, then looked the other way. Uh-oh. Good morning. I suppose it's a bit late for that. Did you just arrive? Fall awkwardly averted her eyes for an instant, then said with determination. You didn't really have to wait though. Sorry. It's alright. This is between Torta and I, after all. Like I said, it's nothing you should worry about. So, where do we go? If we follow yesterday's plan. Okay, and after that there was somewhere else you wanted to go, right? Well, we'll leave that until later. Right, it's customary after all. Fall continued as we went on our way to our destination. Probably. When you consider that, it'll probably be packed. We entered the new town. It felt like it had been ages since I set foot in here. The church, as well as these stores and houses, were newly built after more and more noblemen settled in this town. It was probably why the storefronts here were far more gaudy in comparison to those in the old town. I couldn't say I liked it. I shifted my gaze to Fall, wondering if a girl would have a different opinion. Somewhat surprisingly, she seemed rather disinterested in the colorful windows lining the streets, and had her gaze focused straight ahead. Ah, nothing. I'm just thinking, it's been a while since I've been to Newtown. Everything's expensive around here after all. We were nearing the church which lay beyond the new town. Compared to the number of people going, there was only a shockingly small number of people leaving. Many strong believers would enter the church and stay there until the evening. Perhaps that contributed to it. I had already suspected it would have been better to go a little earlier, but it was too late for regrets. Lining up might be a bit of a pain now.
本当？実は私もそう思ってた。意見がまとまってきたね。さすがパートナー。
I think she's hinting at something. The point we agreed on isn't exactly laudable, though.
それもそうね。
Oh well, let's at least go and check it out. The streets were packed with people here. It would perhaps be more appropriate to call it a cathedral rather than a church. It was enormous and could fit thousands of people. The size of the queue in front of the entrance was so long you would think every last resident of the town had lined up in there. Honestly, that's a cool looking church. I feel like I've been there in Assassin's Creed. I'll actually be going to Italy pretty soon. For my spring break. So that should be cool. Paris and then Italy. And I say Italy and not like Venice, because I'm going to a bunch of places in Italy, but only Paris when I'm in France. Don't know why. Oh well. Even so, the area was shrouded in an eerie silence, as no man would dare talk loudly in such close proximity to the church. I know what you want to say. What do you suggest? We came a bit earlier back then, due to the influence of a certain individual I went with. When I averted my eyes from the silence that had fallen, I noticed... Why didn't you just say Arietta? What's a certain individual? I don't get that, Chris. I noticed we had unconsciously walked up to the end of the queue. Might as well line up for a while. I don't think that's a good idea, but if you think so, okay. It was about 30 minutes after that. We were standing about halfway into the queue by now. How much time would it take to get inside, receive blessings, and say our prayers? The girl whispered without looking my way, taking care not to draw attention amidst the tranquil atmosphere. Yeah? Let's bail. Before I even had time to respond, she took my hand and pulled me out of the line. Stumbling out of the queue, I looked over my shoulder and saw the gap that we had left had already been closed by the people who lined up behind us. Fall? It's in like 3 hours. True, but still. Kochi. What? Still being pulled by my hand, I glanced aside and noticed toward his back. She was standing in line all by herself. Go stand with Torda. Be a good friend, man. Or not. Be a bad friend. I stood gazing over the people still lined up at a position away from the heavy pedestrian traffic. What should we do about our prayer? There's no priest here, you know. With that, the girl closed her eyes and brought her hands together in front of her. Some simple verses even I could understand flowed forth from her lips. She was actually praying right here on the spot. Normally at Natale, people would pray to reaffirm the physicality of their existence. Put simply, since God existed only as a spirit, it was impossible for a man to talk to or envision him directly. People would often forget the spiritual part that existed within them and be preoccupied with the physicalities like material wealth. The purpose of the Mass was for them to reaffirm their existence and report their deeds to God. And the mediator between man and God, the one to deliver the prayers, was the priest. So it was actually more important to confess to a priest at a church than to pray, but... The girl said cheerfully after she reopened her eyes, even though she seemed to have nothing to base her claims on. Whoa, that was cool. That was cool. I similarly closed my... Ew! Now it's not cool. Whose eyes close like that? Ew. I'm thinking of how you... Oh, jeez. Okay. And looked back on myself. I couldn't put everything I felt into words. I pictured Ari in my mind first. After that, Torta. After that, Forney. And finally, Fall. Ugh. Why? That just looks so painful. I suppose we're done here. She said that, actually. I messed up. Fall said mischievously when I opened my eyes again. She had been watching intently, it seemed. It was clear enough that I wouldn't be able to connect to God without the priest, but even more so, the church was so majestic that I hadn't been able to feel even a sliver of divinity. But what encouraged me far more right now was the smile right in front of my eyes. Let's go. We left the church behind us. With a final side glance, I managed to spot the familiar figure disappear into the entrance. I feel bad about Torta now. Good idea. I don't know why I was so delayed on that. I just froze for a sec. After having wasted our time at the church, okay, we had taken a leisurely stroll through the new town, and now it was almost showtime. Oh, what's showtime gonna be? Oh, that's just the school. Unlike the church, the concert hall wasn't decorated with garish ornaments. Even so, beautily would probably be an appropriate word to describe it. Oh, butility. Okay. Okay. It was a practical rectilinear building, but it still had a sense of beauty to it. It was evident that our concert was about to start, as a considerable crowd had taken shape. Apparently there was only reserved seating for today's concert, so there had been no need to rush. I paused. Oops. Actually, I probably should pause, because I want to get this uploaded tonight. So I'm gonna save. What? No, don't do that. Save. So, yeah, thanks for watching.